All right, good morning, guys. It's March 12th, 2016. It's Saturday. I want to go over a few things on the charts here that should help a few people out, I hope. I had somebody message me about the euro. That's why I have this chart brought up. They wanted to know how I knew that was going to pull back because I had mentioned to you at this move that we were about to see a pullback on the euro, and they were kind of curious as to how I knew that, because a lot of times people are afraid to get in after a move like that. So I'm going to kind of briefly go over that. But before I get into that, I want to go over the Swiss yen again. I know that I had mentioned this. This right here was a terrific call earlier in the week, if you remember. As I had mentioned on my, let's see here, on my small personal account, I got stopped out to the pip because I showed my stop losses, which is something I normally don't do, but I tried to lay down and take a nap for a couple hours during the London session. But there's no way a level like this is going to fail. It's just too strong, and we also have a confluence with the moving averages as far as ADR is concerned, which is, I'm not going to go over that in great detail, but I knew this thing had to go up. So what happened was in London, they did a stop hunt down here. They saw my stops down here, and they took them to the pip, and then they reversed the market up. That right there is not coincidence. That is something the market makers do very often in London. That's why I don't like to show my stops, because they will come after them. Just keep that in mind. So that's why they did that stop run down there, because they wanted my stops, and then they reversed it up. This often happens before very powerful moves, especially something on the higher time frames. If you're working off of a 15-minute time frame, not so much. But if you're dealing with a 1 hour or a 4 hour chart before a huge move, they will do this, because what they want to do is they want to take your money off the table, and then they want to run it up and make a killing, and that's exactly what they did. My bigger accounts didn't suffer like that because I didn't show the stop loss on them, luckily. But the little one did, so it kind of sucked. But at any rate, you can see the entry was right around 112.35 on this. We have a double bottom over here, and then we have another kind of double bottom right here, and then a massive move off of that. So of course it's going to hold up for us. But they did the stopper, and then they shot it up, and let's see, the lows down here were 111.88. The highs on the move so far are 115.96. We are talking a 400 pip move already. And looking at the daily time frame, I think this thing has the ability to move a lot farther. If you look down here, here's the triple bottom. I'm seeing some legit divergences on the daily and the weekly chart. If you look at your lows down here, you got two lows, and then if you look down here at MACD and also your THV, you're going to notice these lines go up slightly while price is going down. That's very bullish. And going to the weekly chart, you are also going to notice we're at a major triple bottom down here. So I think there's a good chance this is probably going to want to head up higher. It is going to pull back, though. We are hitting the moving average on the weekly, so this is a good reversal point. But I think there's potential for more upside on this, but we'll see. But at any rate, that's why they did the massive stop run down there, because they were about to reverse price. So great trade call, but unfortunately, London traders are cheaters, and that's what they do. By the way, that is totally illegal what they do. They were busted and fined, if you read the article I posted a while back, $5 billion for doing this, because this is currency manipulation, and that is federal law. They can't do that. But they still do it. But anyways, that was the franc yen. The other thing that I want to note is earlier in the week, I think it was this week, I had mentioned this double, triple top looking area up here. Maybe we can see it better than 30-minute. I had mentioned this level right here, very obvious level, and we tagged it up here, and I'm going to show you this. From the look of the 1 hour time frame, it looks like we got stopped out on this, but we did not. I'm going to show you this on the lower time frame. Very important. This is why you got to be quick on your feet when it comes to trading. You really got to watch your trades, otherwise you can really get screwed. But at any rate, we had the bounce off the lows here, and as I teach one of the things I teach in the course is only trade off the chart highs and the chart lows. And when we hit this double top area, not only did we have a massive move down, which is a key to seeing a level hold up when it retraces and retest it, but the other thing is it's the chart highs, and those are very powerful. That's why I only trade those. But anyway, if you go down to the 15-minute time frame, I want to show you this. These are your highs. You have a top, top, top. Price came up to it within, let's see here. If you waited for the exact top, that was at 114.87. The wick up here was 114.85.4. So we literally came 2 pips away from that. If you had your entry just below the exact top, you definitely took an order on it. But you can see it went from 114.87. The very next 15-minute candle, we dropped all the way down to 114.11. That is a, let's see, 75 pip move off of that in 15 minutes. And it is all because of that level right there. So if you're trading chart highs and chart lows, there's no reason why you're not making money. It's crazy if you're losing. But you just got to make sure that you're trading the chart highs and the chart lows on this. And the other thing that I want to note about this, at that level, we were at a max move from the daily, or from the major moving average here. More on that in the course. I'm not going to divulge everything that I teach, but on these free videos. But if you want to know more on that, get the course. But the fact is, we were at a major double top here, and we were at a max move from the moving average. So it was very clear this thing was going to pull back. And then if you look at the 15-minute, if you missed it, you might say, well, I want to get in on the second hit of this. That's another part of the course that I teach. Don't do that. There's more on the course if you want to learn why I don't do that. But at any rate, the second hit would have been a loser. No question about it. Your stop should not have been that high up. But that is the Swissy yen, and I believe that was the news move from Draghi. Because anytime there's euro movement like that, you're going to see it on Swissy too. So, but going back to the euro, I had mentioned earlier in the week that this thing was going to pull back. I said it right after this news came out. I posted it on the Signals group wall. If you want to go check it out, it's timestamped. You can see that I put that up there. That euro and euro pound, you need to watch these because this move is not sustainable. Even again down here, like I say, trade chart lows, double bottoms, triple bottoms, all that, and we hit it, and then we reversed 400 pips. It's not coincidence that price stopped right down here. Not at all. But back to what I was talking about here. On the euro, the highs up here, the one thing I want to show you, a lot of times when Draghi comes out and makes comments or changes interest rates, you're going to see a dramatic and radical move on the markets. And the last time that he did this was right here. You have, let me zoom in a little bit here. You have this massive candle from the low, 105.17, to the high, 109.80. You're talking 400 plus pip move on this in one day. That is not sustainable. And if you go down to the 1 hour time frame, you definitely hit a max move on that, and that's why we had to pull back. And you can notice we pulled back. The highs were 109.80, and the lows were 107.96. So you're talking almost a 200 pip pullback on that, and then it took off a little further and just did nothing for a substantial period of time. It actually consolidated before the next move up. That's part of how I knew that this move right here was not going to continue up. From the lows, we had 108.21 to the high, 112.17. You're talking about a 400 pip move. 200 pips, yeah, you can keep on going. But when you get into 350, 400, that is not sustainable, and the market has to pull back. That doesn't mean you just want to get in when the candle closes saying, hey, it's going to go down the next day. Again, you have to make sure that you have a strategy when it comes to getting in and getting out of the market. And I'm going to show you exactly what I did. You can see down here on the bottom of your screen that I did take euro pound short, euro short, and then I also took another euro pound short up here, another euro here. So I was shorting it, and I'm going to show you why I shorted it. The euro pound, first of all, massive, massive, massive move up. This is not normal for euro pound. You're talking 76.50 all the way to 78.50. You're talking a 200 pip move on euro pound. Looking at the daily chart, this kind of move just doesn't happen, and it's got to stop. There's no way it's going to continue. The other thing I want to show you too is one of the reasons why I knew this thing was about to come back down. you have a trend line here. Let me zoom in just a little bit. First hit, second hit, third hit, broken down, and now it's retesting it. That's another reason why I felt extremely confident about this trade. You're going to notice it did come back and retest it this fourth time, and then it consolidated and then broke below it. This right here is a sure sign that it's going to hold up when it comes back around to it, because it's showing me that it's respecting this trend line. So it came back around, retested it. So not only did you have that, but you had a massive move on the daily that was very unsustainable. So what I did here was I actually took a trade over here short because of this, and I took off a few pips. But then what I did was when it came back in Asia session to retest that area, remember this is the Euro Pound is not an Asian traded pair normally, so it respects the support and resistance levels very well because it's not an Asia pair, so it's just going to kind of screw around quite a bit during Asia. So it respects the levels very well for that reason. But at any rate, we got in at a double top up here. I saw the pullback, saw the double top. If you look at your THV on the hourly, while we were moving up to test the double top, this thing was red and not moving up. This is major divergence, okay? Even looking at the MACD, you were seeing we're start to turn down up here. So make sure you're watching this. You can spot divergences and realize, hey, something's wrong here. So we had divergence on the hourly. We had a double top. I'm not sure 15-minute was showing me anything. Not really. You did see divergence on the MACD and THV on the 15-minute, obviously. And you're also going to see it on the 30-minute. Even divergence on the stochastic. You got a hot, let's see, let me draw the lines on here so you can see this. There's your high. And then if you look at your MACD, whoops, let's try that again here. If you look at your MACD, you're going to see that this thing is diverging like crazy. So you had divergence on the 15, the 30-minute, the 1 hour, double top in Asia after a significant move, trend line hit, that was broken. Huge move. So I had no problem shorting that up there. No, I did not call this in the room. Like I said, I usually only call the ones that are the London close. But, of course, you would have wanted an acceptable stop up here. I always say 1 to 2 grid bars, which would have been anywhere from 16 to 32 pips. And I did close somewhere down around here because I said, forget it, I'm going to bed. And I did go to bed, only to watch this thing tumble pretty much all night long. So it did pull back quite a bit. The same story with the euro dollar. If you look at where I got in down here, let's see, where's it at here? 112.096. Look at your high up here. Wait a minute. This was the 21. Okay, that was over here. I got it. I got it at 109 up here, and then when it came back over here, I got it at 112.09. Let's see, 112.05. Okay, I got it at 112.05 over here. The high was 112.098, so I got in 4 pips from the high. Again, you'd want to make sure you had a stop no more than 1 to 2 grid bars above that because it should be respecting that level. And again, it tumbled quite a bit. I took about 25 pips, not a lot. Again, I wanted to go to bed. I didn't want to stay up all night, and I was already like 4 o'clock in the morning. So, but that's how I traded the euro. Again, you had an extended move. By the way, this is a max move from the moving average as I teach in the course. Same thing down here. It can't keep going after a move like that. That's all there's to it. It has to pull back. So that's how I knew, again, the euro pound, to kind of reiterate that. You had a major moving average or major trend line here that it was testing and a max move. And also, like I say, when you have a move like that on the daily, the lows to the highs, it just is not sustainable. You cannot continue up. Same thing with the euro dollar. 400 pip move. You just cannot continue up after a move like that. That's just how the market works. It's extremely rare. I don't know that I've ever seen a pair move 300-400 pips like this and then just keep on going. That just really doesn't happen. So it's a good thing to keep in mind when you're trading, but again, use a stop because anything can happen, especially if you get like a national crisis or something crazy going on. You just never know. So always use a stop, but keep that in mind. You know, once you get so far away from the moving average, I mean, it's game over for these pairs. So, but But that's what I got for you today. If you have any questions at all on this video, or you have any questions about the Swissy yen that we took, any questions about the euro or the euro pound, just leave them in the comments below. And hopefully you learned something in this video that will help you in your trading. All right, we'll see you in the next one.